All right, I'm back with another installment, and looking at this page, and I think the basic issue with this is that it's all sort of mid-tones. So I want to get some dark and some light in here. And I think maybe what might be interesting is see what happens if I really darken this color. So I'm going to take a little bit of that on my palette off to the side here, and I'm going to take some black and palette knife, put some together. Let's see what we can get. I'll bring that over here. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, let's see what happens. Black is really strong, so it's good to kind of be aware. Okay, that's a nice value. Let's see what happens if we get it even darker than that. That's also interesting. And then what if we took the black and tinted it just a tiny bit with this green to make it a third value? Okay. Let's see, I've got a couple of stencils that are patterned over here. I think I'm going to try this. So I'm going to take a dry sponge. Hopefully I'll have better luck with this than I did last time. And run that right across here. Okay. Grab some of the really black. Make sure my sponge is dry. Maybe just kind of and let's go for letters this time. So that's kind of a nice color. Maybe a few more up here on the top of this other. So I've got all around this area that seems problematic to me. So I think what I'm going to do is be bold, because this is early times. There's going to be lots more layers on this part. So let's see about, let's see, those are bees already. What we went with something like this. That works. It's not a real high contrast. If we up the contrast a little bit. Okay, that's good for now with that. Looks like I just got paint on my face, of course. So, you know, it's building up layers. Whereas I feel like this page before it is pretty close to being done. This one is still not there, but it might be, it's getting closer. This page here now is not close at all. I found this laying around. It's a piece of paper that I had from something else. And I thought that it might an interesting addition to this. I'm not sure how. I was thinking of putting it on there. And this is also not going to be, I think that it's going to move with water. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's see what happens. I'll have to just kind of, oh, this is plugged up. I forgot. All right, I'm going to have to pause the camera for a minute while I find my matte medium. Okay, here it is. So I think what I'm going to do is get this surface pretty wet and just lay this on top of it and hope that, since this is on newsprint, I just kind of smear that around and lay this right on top of it. I believe that this will kind of fix some of it. This is where I wanted it to go. I think I liked it kind of around that. That's what I was thinking there. Ugh, thunder. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Got a big whopping thunderstorm coming. Oops. What did I say about just leaving it? That's staying better than I thought it was going to. This is some of that Ranger Distress ink. Oh, that's the wet paint for that. That's what I'm picking up. Well, these always make interesting. And the more I work on it, the worse it gets. These make for interesting happy accidents. So hopefully that's going to stick. I think that's a nice addition to that. It echoes this yellow, brings it around full circle. This I'm not a fan of at all. Let's see. I think some solid white in here would be good. Maybe a big I like this quite a lot. So let's see what we could do about. So let's try. Trying to keep my sponge drier. I think that was where I was going wrong earlier. Okay, that's interesting. I would like to see that kind of carry over into this next page, and also a little bit of it up here, I think. Kind of like this. So let's do that first, and then I'll reposition. Okay, there's that. Now I still want that white paint to get on the back side, which is already done, so I'll clean that up. And I want to see that carry into this next page here. Kind of dancing across the page is how I'm seeing this. So let's just I like the contrast of the organic plant-like forms of the stencil against the typography. I think that it makes for an interesting difference. There too, I do believe. That's an interesting start. I would sort of like to see I should probably pick up some of this fuchsia from that and repeat it. Let's see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. If we had some great big dots. Stuff like this, I like to have a varied values on the end of my sponge so that it creates a little bit of difference that way as well. Those marks are kind of interesting. So I just keep moving these colors and shapes to either side. Try to keep the pages uniform, and look what a difference that made in that page. I really did not like this at all. I'm not crazy about the green, but I think that this has made a lot of difference right here. So let's see, maybe one more like that. One more, always one more. To feed this down between my, let it fall off the table and go between it and the next table. Let's see. I want more of the aqua in there too, so how am I going to do that? What happens if I mix these two colors together? What would I get? Let's see about that. I brought them both right here. Let's try a little bit of this and a little bit of this. Sometimes, oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? Wow. So it's sort of a purpley. I love that. Okay, so this is something that could be really interesting to mix those two together and maybe put a glaze on. Yeah, I think a glaze. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of that over here. And I'm gonna mix a bunch of matte medium into it. Matte medium, gloss medium, doesn't really matter. You can also use glazing fluid. Golden glazing fluid has a drying time extender in it. Other brands apparently do not. I've only used golden, but this is what other people that I trust tell me. Wow, isn't that beautiful? If we do some palette knife marks, those are always interesting. It's like little tracks or something. Now then, how else will I introduce that? Got it as a glaze. Drop that in there into the water. This is all wet paint, so I can't really, if I go over this too much, it's going to smear things quite a bit. It's very humid here because of the thunderstorm coming, so that's going to take a little while to dry. So what if I just move down this way a little bit more and see about that brush go, oh, here it is. See about using the glaze. One of the things I'm trying to challenge myself to do a little bit is to use geometric shapes more. So what if I hey, it's still pretty thick. It's thicker than I thought it was going to be. What if I scrape at it a little bit? Oh, that's cool. Oh, it's because of that. Okay. Yeah, well, that's interesting. Where that orange came from, that's kind of not a part of the whole plan, but that's okay too. Mix this way down, make it really thin. Let's see what happens if we, I can get a little bit of a kind of a smear on that dot right there to kind of knocks it back a little bit when you cover it with a glaze. If we just and then I'm moving over into here. I'm still thinking about tying back to this previous page too. So what if a little bit of this and brought it this way. Okay, so I'm going to embrace that smudging of that dot. I like it. What if I do the same thing here? Can I do the same thing here? Yes, I can. Okay, I think I'm going to stop and let this dry for now, and I'll see you in the next segment.